welcome to another episode of our award-winning podcast, Smart People Travel Wise, a platform where we discuss all things about travel. I'm your host, Tennie Sumague, coming to you from my hometown of Woodside, Queens, New York. And today we are going to delve in on solo travel as me and my guests discuss some of our favorite solo travel destinations that we've done in the year of 2022 and some of our plans that we have for next year. But before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone, if you are watching this live, please hashtag live. And if you are watching on replay, hashtag replay. Make sure you tell us where you're coming from so we can acknowledge all of you. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and YouTube. You can also listen on Amazon Fire, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Or download the app PHLV Radio, available on all iOS and Android devices. So I'd like to welcome back Ruby Boyles, who is my fellow travel advisor for TravelWise International. And we have a lot in common, other than that we're both educators and we love travel. And today's episode, well, we're going to delve in to one of our favorite things that we love to do, travel, but traveling solo. So please smash those heart buttons as I welcome Ruby Boyles back to our podcast. Hey,
Hello,
Ruby.
Tennie, how are you? Hey, Tennie, how are you?
Oh, I love talking to you not only about life and education, but the topic that we both truly love to do is travel. And I know this year you've pretty much traveled every month.
Yes, that was a goal.
And you hit all your targets. So I actually want you to share with our audience and to me as well, kind of just sum up where you've traveled this year.
Well, actually, I set a goal for 2022 to travel to a new destination, which my company is Destinations by Rubi. And starting in January, I've traveled to a new destination, starting with New Orleans, Louisiana. And then I did the Riviera Maya, and that was actually business related. Went to a 5-star resort. I'd actually never done resort travel. I usually stayed with hotels and done lots of cruises, but this was a 5-star resort and it was amazing, AMR Resorts. And then I actually went to Panama and Costa Rica, and that was just with one other companion. And I went to Iceland, and that was with another person. So it's usually just me and one other companion, which is also another female retired teacher. She was an educator for 52 years. So yeah, she has a lot of knowledge about education in places that we've traveled to. And Montreal, Canada, and Ottawa. And then actually I did a solo travel to Dublin, Ireland. And that was amazing. And I just came back from Paris, France, like not even 5 days ago. So there were some other domestic things thrown in there, like Vermont and the beach and things like that. There was a solo trip with my 3 grandchildren, age 4, age 3, and age 1, all by myself to the beach. So that in itself was a different type of solo trip. So.
Wow, that's a lot. Because not many people have that opportunity to travel, domestic, internationally. Pretty much, it could be, budget or just like they're scared to travel. But man, you're one. What is this, Dora the Explorer? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Right, that's what the children at school say. Next, Miss Vogel.
Yeah, it's like you're pretty much you're traveling and you're teaching yourself, and it's you're educating yourself as you travel. I actually want to ask you because I was reading an article on I forgot if it was Country Living or House. What is that? That Good Housekeeping. But they had I forgot what was the magazine, but the article was about 40 trips that every woman should do, and then you touched based on Iceland, and you went there, and I do want to ask you. I know one of the most popular things, places that people go to, specifically women, is the Blue Lagoon. Did you get a chance to, you know, immerse in that pool and relax?
Yes, we did. Actually, from Baltimore, Maryland, we actually took a night flight, and we actually landed at 6:30 in the morning. And from there, we rented a 4x4 because it was in March. So it was about 25 degrees Celsius, no, Fahrenheit outside. And we went to the Blue Lagoon right away. And it was a fantastic experience. It seems like kind of crazy that you're in a bathing suit and a robe, and it's 22 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and you have to shower before you go into the lagoon.
Oh.
And it's a little frigid walking down initially, but once you go into the lagoon, which is volcanically heated, and I think it was probably about 90 degrees or 92 degrees, you felt amazing. And we did the whole thing with the face mask and the actual drink, walking around the lagoon, and there were different types of treatments that you could get for your skin. And yes, we did them all. It was amazing.
Well, that's like pampering, a lot of pampering and relaxation, and that's one of a popular thing that I would say popular travel trend nowadays is wellness travel. A lot of especially women want to go to spas and baths and just unwind and relax, and a lot of it is because whatever it's just to de-stress, or when you go on vacation, that's kind of what vacations are for, is just to unwind and relax. Now,
that was the beginning. Since Iceland we did a lot of, even though it was winter, we did some trekking and hiking and going up to the waterfalls, even with the snow, and walking around volcanoes. So the wellness was in the beginning, and then after that, we put our hiking boots on and tested the elements. So we went to the Black Beach in Vik, and we did things in Reykjavik, the capital. So it was a fantastic time.
And how long were you in Iceland, by the way?
Actually, we were there for 6 days, 6 days, 5 nights, and we did more than like 200 miles driving, I would say easily.
Wow.
Staying near the Reykjavik, and we did something, it's called, when you look it up online, the Golden Circle, and we actually drove that and did that ourselves. Yeah.
So how would you say can you see Iceland pretty much all in like those 6 days? Or basically
no, I don't think you can see all of it. Not in the winter, because there were several snowstorms, ice storms. I would not say that you could, even though we saw a very, 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 very good amount. We saw a good amount, but because of the elements, and because it was my first time there and I was driving, I would not have I think you would probably need about 10 to 12 days, and you could probably see the whole island, and go out to some of the forges and take like some little cruises and things like that they offer. But we actually just stayed mostly, well, no, not mostly, but basically on land. So.
Wonderful. That's actually one place I want to go to, hopefully before I die, whenever that is. And I saw this on CNBC that for our audience, and I don't know if you knew this, Ruby, but there's no McDonald's in Iceland. That's probably one place where they said I remember they closed their last McDonald's, I think 1994, because it just didn't do well. I think the only fast food chain that they have in Iceland is KFC. And
Actually, I don't know because I am vegan and I don't frequent McDonald's even in America. Um, so my travel companion would have liked that, but we actually just getting back from Paris, France. We actually did go into a McDonald's because she just had to do that, and believe me, it was nothing like America. Nothing like America.
oh yeah, no, I had McDonald's in Milan. Oh yeah, like even just the portions, and that's kind of one of my traditions too. When I travel, I have to eat at a McDonald's because it's
Ah, that's an American thing for you to do. Mine actually is pizza. So
yes.
I have pizza all around the world, and I know later we're going to touch on what you're going to be doing shortly. But even in South Korea and even when I was in Africa, I had pizza. So
Yeah, and,
it's a
and that's a good one because pizza is probably like was probably one of those you can find pizza everywhere, kind of like you could find a McDonald's everywhere, well, except Iceland,
except for Iceland, right?
obviously. But and it's nice where how I where did I have pizza where it was just different. Well, oh well, it's actually I haven't had it, but I saw it on one of those influencers. And we're going to talk about where I'm going because one of my um, eating spots that I want to go to in the place where I'm headed to next week is to have Detroit pizza there with some of the the cultural specialties. But
That's delicacy.
we'll get into that too. But yeah, the best part of pizza is it's everywhere, and then you add into like kind of like the culture of where you're having the pizza. And
Sure.
yeah, I do want to ask you, like, how's pizza in Iceland?
Actually, I chose to do a vegan pizza and it was like fabulous. So the vegetables and the artichokes and the sun-dried tomatoes and things like that. So everything seems very, very fresh there, actually. So it was fantastic.
Yeah, and I know that that's also one thing why that there's no McDonald's or like you rarely find any fast food because I think in Iceland like, they want everything fresh, like farm, like kind of like that farm to table stuff. I remember that's something I remember reading or hearing in CNBC about that. That's why. So,
And
but
another thing that is kind of different, not kind of, is different. You don't see cows and things like that. You see horses everywhere, and they're called
oh,
Icelandic ponies. And I was teasing my friend Beverly, that's my travel companion, and she's like, "Oh, look at the Icelandic ponies!" And then when we went to the Black Beach, people were riding the horses on the beach. And then when we went to the restaurant, they actually served horse.
oh,
Yeah. So all the horses we were seeing, like in America,
oh.
cows, we never saw any cows. We always saw horses everywhere. And guess what? It's because they're on the menu. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I've never, well, I know you're vegan, so you didn't
So
have it.
that since you are a meat eater, and I couldn't try it because that's not what I do. But yeah,
That's interesting because, yes, I am a meat eater and I do eat weird things. Like when I went to Brazil, I ate wild boar. When I went to Sydney, Australia, I had kangaroo meat. But I don't know if I have the courage to eat horse because all I think of is My Little Ponies.
I'm just putting it out there. You wanted to know something special about Iceland, and there you go.
I'm wondering about, yeah, last question about Iceland, about those horses. You said your travel companion had it. Do you know how to?
No, she would not. She would
Oh,
not.
she would not.
She
Okay,
was
she
like
didn't have.
you. She'd been certain places and had had all kinds of delicacies. But when we got there, she just fell in love with those ponies. So once we went to the restaurant a couple days in, she was like, "There's no way. I can't do it. I can't do it." So, no. So we didn't do it. Well, she didn't do it.
Yeah, I think the first thing I would have to ask is, okay, like how do you compare? What does the horse taste like? Is it like chicken? Because I remember when I had boar, they said, well, it's kind of like pork, and it was like a kind of a drier version of pork, and then when I had kangaroo meat, oh, you like prime rib? It's even juicier. So there's always comparisons of these animals to other animals that we're familiar with, like the taste, like chicken and beef and so forth. But I'm curious now, now that you mentioned about they serve horse in Iceland. So we're gonna go into, because you mentioned Dublin and you went there by yourself, and tell us more about that experience in Ireland.
Yes, actually, Dublin was my very first actual solo, meaning when I went to Ireland, I was not going to meet anyone that I actually knew, because usually, being prior military, I know people all over the world. So I always have like a place to lay my head, actually, but not in Ireland. So that was my first solo, and I actually flew there and was very excited. I was like, after my research, I am going to take public transportation. Usually, when I say public, I mean like a bus or train system. I wasn't going to do a taxi, and I wasn't going to do Uber. And I just put it in my head that that's what I was going to do. And I was actually going to stay in a hostel. Now, when you think of hostels, everyone wants to put youth in front of it, but that was maybe like the thing to say in the 70s or the 80s. Yes, I am a product of the 80s. So I'm actually 56, proud to say that. And this was my first solo and hostel experience, and it was amazing. And I actually enjoyed it. And so when I went to Paris, not even 5 days ago, I stayed in another hostel. So you were talking about Ireland, Dublin, and I thought it was fascinating. I ate at several vegan restaurants since I was by myself. And yeah, hey, that's what I do. That's what I like. I did actually organize tours. Just, it was amazing. I loved every minute of it. And being a Black solo traveler, everyone would ask me, you went to Ireland though. Did you feel like out of place? Were people staring at you? Absolutely not from my perspective, because my personality is to each its own. I'm very open-minded. I am not, I don't carry fear. That's not like part of me. So I'm very friendly to people when they're friendly to me. And otherwise, I didn't notice any stares or anything like that. Actually, when I went on the bus tour, well, I mean, you will notice I'm actually kind of a big female as well. So like 5'8" and like 250. So when I went to go 6 o'clock in the morning, yes, it was still dark. Yes, Ireland was dreary. 6 o'clock in the morning to walk about 15 minutes from the hostel to downtown Dublin, to catch my bus to go on the tour to the cliffs of the Moher and see things in interior from Dublin. Yeah, there weren't many people walking it. It was kind of early morning, but I felt absolutely safe. And when I got there, yes, I was absolutely the only person of color. But that was not a problem. And then the bus driver was like, hey, are you traveling by yourself? I'm like, sure, I'm traveling solo, my first time. He's like, well, you sit behind me and then I'm going to show you the time of your life. And he actually really showed me a great time. So saying all that to say, solo travel for me so far has been amazing. I just love every part of it, being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. Don't have to ask, oh, do you want to eat here? Do you want to eat there? No. So it's been a great ride the first time.
Yeah, I know. I had my first solo experience in Milan. Although I did have friends, I should do my first solo trip somewhere where I don't have any friends, like what you did in Dublin, where it's just you and the city.
Right.
But I kind of like when you said, like, even if you're black and white world, I should say, but like when you travel, like it doesn't even, I felt like that in Italy too, like, hey, I'm Asian, I'm Filipino, and even though there are a lot of Filipinos in Milan specifically, but when you're blending, when I went to Cuomo, I should say, because a lot of people in Cuomo are just the I would say the locals and anyone visiting in the neighboring European countries. And it's just not even about like your race, but your personality. You mentioned you're friendly. I'm friendly. I'm a people person. So, and I
Yeah,
also immersed in the language. And that's how you kind of just, it doesn't matter like how you look, it's really how you communicate with the people. That's how you connect with the people, I should say, and how you communicate, which makes it, the traveling fun and the experience worthwhile. So,
exactly.
and I want to add, when you went to Dublin, and I want to talk about, besides, you mentioned you had your vegan pizza. Is there anything like, is there any specialties? Like, I would say maybe, did you have Irish soda bread? That's the only Irish thing I know, actually.
Um,
And
I
Guinness, but
don't,
I don't drink.
I don't think so because, oh well, actually, I did have like an Irish stew, but made sure it was like the vegetarian part of it, but not really. No, no, I can't say that I tried anything terribly Irish um, when I was there. No.
Not even drinking whiskey, Guinness.
Well, considering I was by myself and I do not really drink that much, but I'm trying to be a whiskey connoisseur actually. But I did go on a tour, but I didn't like sip. I just went in and saw the building, and because I was by myself, just because I'm not really a drinker, and I was like, wow, if I'm gonna have to walk all the way back to my hostel, no. But I did go to an Irish pub. Okay, yeah,
That's
but
their
that was for the
specialty.
atmosphere. That was for the atmosphere, and that was for they were singing, and it was just really jovial, and it was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually, that's one of the things I would love to experience in Ireland is actually go to the pub, not for like really for the music. And I'm big on like Irish
Oh, it was fun.
music.
It was nice. Yeah. And we actually did not go like in downtown Dublin on what was the street, the famous street. I was there. I can't even remember. I've been so many places. That's horrible, right? But we didn't do it there per se. We actually went into a neighborhood. And I say we because I am friendly and I did meet someone at the hostel. Yeah. So when I went back to the hostel and I was like, I'm getting ready to go to a pub, and this girl was like, hey, I'm a solo traveler, I'll go with you. So that's another thing about solo travel. Especially if you're staying in a hostel that has like a communal area where people can meet up and they, are linked up on their social media, what have you. You can say, hey, I just got in, I'm going this place. Does anybody want to go? And that's what I did. And I actually met a young lady, actually a Filipino lady. She's a
Oh,
Filipina from Toronto, and
wow.
she at a university, higher education as well. So I don't know what it is about us educators, we women that just want to get out and do our solo thing. But yes, I met her, so it was really cool.
And I think it's also because also as teachers, you're also surrounded by different cultures, and then it's just the whole like I guess the atmosphere. I think prior to working in secondary, I spent almost 15 years working in elementary school, so I'm always exposed to maps,
Right, right, right.
flags.
Actually, this quarter, I actually started a travel club, and I have 11 students. It's after school 1 day a week, and actually have 11 students, and that's what we do: study maps, talk about passports and what visas are, and we're going to do a tour
Nice.
of the embassy since we're like right in Washington D.C., like what 20 minutes outside. So they have been going on my journeys with me, and they are like super excited every time I go somewhere. So that's been really fun as well.
That's amazing. You just also gave me an idea. I'm like, I should also like do something too, related to culture and flags. And we just the World Cup just finished too, and that's was one of the biggest things at work that all the kids were rooting for their home country, their heritage, and they
That's
were.
right. You're from New York, so you do have a lot of different ethnicities. Well, my school is very large El Salvadorian and Guatemalan, And actually, in my travel club, I have a little boy who is Moroccan. His dad's Moroccan. His mother's from Argentina. And he
Oh,
leaves tomorrow morning for Argentina. And he is super excited. He's in the 5th grade and he's a soccer player. And I'm
nice.
that teacher that let them watch the World Cup right before I went to France. It's like, we're going to take a 2-hour break. And what are we doing? They're like, we're watching the World Cup. And yes, I let them do that. So that's me.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's no World Cup soccer is a big thing. Even I would say more popular than NBA. I mean, some kids get excited. Like I guess a majority group get excited about the NBA, but like with World Cup, or I would say soccer, when there's a big event, it's just every single, well, pretty much majority of all the students, because it's the world's popular sport. Now, I do want to ask before we get into speaking of World Cup, we're going to talk about your trip to Paris in a bit. But I do want to also ask you, because you also went to Germany,
Yeah.
and so I guess we'll keep the Europe theme going here for this episode. But what made you want to go to Germany
Well,
specifically this year?
yeah, this year for Germany, my best friend is actually half German, and she is in Germany. And I've been like 3 times, but with this trip, I wanted to do more cultural things. And for some people, they don't understand history so much, but I love history. I'm a history buff as well. And so I was able to go to Dachau, which is a concentration camp in southern Germany near Stuttgart. And so that was eye-opening, and it was an experience. I've read all about it. Like I've already told you my age, so it's not like I don't know about World War II. So, I mean, I'm not quite that old, but I'm just saying I studied that. And it was an experience. It was different. And actually going in the fall, like right after Oktoberfest, and I'm very, very much into pumpkins and the fall festivals. And that is a thing in Germany, pumpkins and the fall festivals and the outdoorness. And so we did a lot of outdoor festivals, and it was amazing. So I actually was in the southern part of Germany, and it was beautiful, the mountains and things like that. So.
Now, your last trip for the year was to Paris, one of
Yes.
the
At
beautiful
Christmas
cities.
time, so the City of Lights was absolutely incredible. Went to Christmas markets, went to French bakeries, pastry shops. It was, I mean, I was never one to say, oh, I have to go to Paris. It's the city of love, blah, blah. No, I'm going back. And then I will be doing different parts of France. But I was actually very, very excited after just being there one day. I learned the subway system once again, took the bus and the subway and the train, actually bought the pass for unlimited. And I know one day, I think I was often on that train system at least 20 times. So when I left, I was pretty much an expert. And I was there, of course, for the World Cup. And I was actually there when Morocco beat Portugal. I actually used to live in Portugal, so it was kind of
Oh,
bittersweet. But I have Moroccan friends, and so believe me, when they won, I'm talking all of Paris was like, there are so many Moroccans because it was colonized by the French. So they had the flags, they were on the train, they were like chanting it up, older people, younger people. It was amazing. And that was really, really something to be a part of that history. Because then the next day, when France played England, I mean, in our hostel, we heard horns blowing all night, people running down the street hollering. But when France beat England, it was like quiet. It was nothing. So that was different. I was like, wow, I thought it was going to be fireworks and things like that. But no, it was amazing when Morocco won. Yeah, but Paris was an experience. I did all of the quote unquote American things to do, the Arc de Triomphe and the Louvre and the
Eiffel
Eiffel
Tower.
Tower at night. So had to go back in the daytime, had to go out at night. Then we had to do Disneyland. It's the 30th anniversary. So If you're a Disney person, um, their train system goes right to Disney. I mean, it ends on one of the rails. The ending of it is, you can tell it was built for Disneyland. So that was an amazing thing to do as well. So, and you have to be kind of healthy. Let me tell you, Paris, a lot of stairs, a lot of walking. Yeah, some of the elevators work, some of the escalators work, but you're going to do a lot of walking. Be ready. And they actually had a cold snap when I was there last week. So it was like between 33 degrees Fahrenheit and 29 degrees Fahrenheit, but felt like 17 degrees. So that was all through Europe. So actually, Iceland was warmer than Paris in March with the snow
Oh, wow.
blizzard. Yeah, yeah. So, but you have to layer up, and you're, believe me, you walk so much, your body lives off that your heat. But yeah.
But Ruby, there's just something magical about going to any popular cities around this time because, I mean, I love New York. I always say that one of my favorite times in New York is the winter because it's very festive and people are more friendlier. And I in tradition, just love going on vacation around the holidays because of yes, like the festive, and it's just more. It's just when you come back, it's there's just it's the story aspect of it when you tell your friends like, oh, I did, like what you're saying, it's like, oh, I did Paris in winter because it's it's almost Christmas and it's just
That was
very
beautiful.
beautiful. Yeah, I love New York here at this time because of the lights. And when I see also photos too, I see like Tokyo. And I'm going to mention here next week I will be in South Korea, and I see 안녕하세요.
Yes.
And I know you're excited because you're a big K drama and you've been to Seoul. You're a big
Yes.
K drama, K-pop fanatic.
Oh yeah.
I haven't gotten into the K dramas. When I'm on the plane going to Seoul, I'm going to watch for the first time Crash Landing.
Yes. It's amazing. It was one of my first ones several years ago. So yeah.
Yeah, and on my bucket list is the DMZ on to see in Seoul. And I did mention about pizza. Yes, I am going to have pizza in Seoul, hopefully. And because I saw in one of those, like I think it's Eater or Thrillist, but somebody had Detroit pizza, and it was with some of the Korean vegetables on it. So it's like a mix of pizza with like kimchi or something like that. And he was just eating it. And yeah, it was my friend from middle school that sent me that. She's like, please eat this for me when you go into to Seoul.
And
So that's gonna be my pizza experience.
Actually, the food markets and things in downtown Seoul, it's amazing. You street food, it's wonderful. You will not believe how clean the city is, considering there's so many people. We actually had to hunt for trash cans because we didn't see any, but there was no trash on the ground. I mean, as Americans, we want to walk and eat and things like that, but I guess they carry their trash with them. But all that to say, we went to different temples, and it was amazing. So got pictures taken with traditional Korean dress, and you're gonna have a fantastic time. I actually loved South Korea. It was amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I'm also, I want to do that, this thing. Yes. So yeah, that's all. I was like, my sister was doing this. So I was like, no, that's Japanese. We have to do this.
You're gonna have a great time. And one of the best subway systems ever. And Seoul, the airport is amazing. But the subway and the train system, it's top notch. I think I've been on the trains everywhere, like Japan, in Tokyo, in South Korea, New York, Maryland, DC, Paris, and I'd have to say South Korea is the best.
Oh, I can't wait. And that's also another thing I like to do is I like to check out the metro systems in each of the cities that I go to. I mean, like I said, I am from New York. I am I know the MTA inside out. I know I've rode every letter and number train in the New York City
So you are
subway
going to be
system.
pleasantly surprised and just so in awe with this with the system, transportation system in South Korea.
Yeah, and that I'm also going to, I'd like to make an announcement here that I am creating a blog. You could catch that, my debut of my destiny, which is the title of my blog, and it'll debut, I should say, on Instagram, and I'm gonna also later on also shift. I mean, I shouldn't say ship. I'm also creating a blog site in itself. It's in the works so that I could tell all my stories of where I've traveled in over more on I should say like 100+ cities, towns across 5 continents.
Nice,
Make
nice.
myself stand out there. But yeah, you've had a wonderful 2022 in travel, and now that 2023 is like 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away. What are your travel plans for next year, Ruby?
Well, Tenny, if you must ask, I have never been to South America. So I plan on spring break time going to Colombia, going to Cartagena and Medellin. So I'm planning that right now in the works. And then I plan on going to Asia for the summer when school lets out for both of us in June. I plan on taking 6 weeks and traveling Asia, preferably Vietnam and Japan. Yeah.
Nice. Vietnam, that's actually one of Anthony Bourdain's favorite places that he's been to around the world. And it's also known for like one of the best culinary um, places, travel places to go to. Very popular that everybody raves the food there. I don't know. Have you tried Vietnamese food? I think there's
Um,
some vegan options there if you
yeah,
eat
yeah. I've
meals.
tried pho. I like pho. So it's going to be interesting for me because, like I said, I shared my age. So um, the reason I really want to do Vietnam is because of the show from the 80s, China Beach. And
Ah,
that was
yeah.
just one of the things that I used to like watch it faithfully um, as a teenager. So that's one of the things, like I want to go to Ho Chi Minh and go to Da Nang and go to Hanoi up in the north. And I'm just super excited. One of the things they say is to travel by motorbike. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do all that. But,
That's a
I have
specialty
to
there.
do a
I
lot of
always see those
practicing.
motorbikes.
So I'm super, super excited. So
And you've also proven that in any age you could enjoy travel. Yeah, you're 56 and you're traveling like a 21-year-old.
well, actually, when I was 21, I traveled as well. So I'm actually need to count my countries, but I think I'm up to like 27, but I definitely getting ready to push the envelope, and before I'm 60, I want to at least get to 60
Yeah,
countries.
no,
So
I have a project that I started. I said 50 states before 50. I'm not
wow.
quite, I haven't even, I think I'm halfway there. Um, but then, I said to myself that, well, I'd rather do more international travel than domestic travel because I could always go domestic travel even, when I'm in my 60s. Like international travel, it's kind of that's something you have to do. And pretty much from I would say now, before something happens.
As long as you can walk and breathe, you'll be okay. I
Yeah.
only have 6 more states, actually, 6 more states, and I will have done all of the states. So yeah.
Yeah, but one of my things too is I want to travel. Actually, I've only been to 5 continents,
Wow.
and I would love to go somewhere in Africa. Specifically, I'd love to go to Tanzania because of Serengeti and experience. the African safari, or real African safari.
Maybe we might need to plan that together because coming back from Paris, I actually sat with a young girl. I say young girl because she was only 33, and she's a remote worker, and she had just spent 4 weeks in Tanzania and Zanzibar, and she did go into the Serengeti on the safari, and she was in South Africa, Cape May. So yeah, we might need to plan that one together. So I've been to Africa before though, so but the west coast of Africa, not the east coast. So hey, we might have to plan that one together, Tennie. I'm
Yes.
excited.
And you know what, that's part why I love safaris is, working in elementary school for so long, and you teach about animals. That's actually the age where they love animals. I do want to ask you, Ruby, because the year is almost ending. What are you thankful for this year?
Actually, I am so thankful for my health because a lot of people, that dreaded word COVID, a lot of people did lose their life and their lives, and a lot of people were scared to travel and scared to, venture out. And I've just been totally blessed and grateful for my health. And thank God that I've never been sick during all my travels this year, and some as of last year as well. I went to several countries in 2021 as well. So I'm just very grateful for my health and grateful for my family and my friends.
Yeah, I think it's great that travel is back. Everything is pretty much, I would say, going back to normal. Nobody is scared or anything, but I'm excited to see what 2023 has in store. And just also looking forward to ending 2022 with a bang in
Yeah, you are.
Korea and Philippines, because obviously with Korea, I'm really eager to explore Seoul for the food, soul food. And of course Philippines, it's just, that's my home country, my where I'm from. Well, I'm really from New York, but that but it's always nice to come go back to the Philippines, because it is hashtag it's more fun in the Philippines.
Well, actually, I have a friend I have, like I said, all over the world. She just retired from my actual school. She was my special ed coordinator, and she has gone back to the Philippines, and she lives in Manila, and then she also has a farm north of Manila. So she's invited me. So people cannot invite me. If you invite me, I will come. So that's also going to be a part of my 6 weeks in Asia in 2023 is to actually get to the PI. So yeah, I'm going to be doing it.
Just make sure, Ruby, that you don't go during rainy season or monsoon season.
I'm going to try not to, but you know
But
what?
it's hard.
Everything. There's an adventure in everything. So
That is true. It is hard, and it makes for beautiful storytelling when you go, you say, "Oh, yeah, I went to the Philippines. I entered the airport, and I was drenched in sweat." Or it was raining and I had to climb. It was raining and pouring, and then you lost your shoe, or all your clothes were wet, and then yet you survived, going from mall to their hotel.
Several years ago when I went to Tokyo, actually I slept through the earthquake. Then there was snow, it was like snowing in Tokyo. There was an earthquake. What was I doing? I was sleeping. So yeah.
All right. Well, happy holidays, Ruby. Thank you for coming on. I can't wait to hear more I can't wait to see more of your adventures. And I just want to tell our viewers, you could reach out to us if you want to plan any trip wherever you want to go. You could reach out to Ruby Destinations, me, and Unforgotten, I should say, Unforgotten Travels. You could reach us at Facebook, or reach out to TravelWise International, and we can plan and your itinerary and make your everyone's travel experience a once in a lifetime adventure. So, Ruby, thank you for coming on. I can't wait to have you back on, maybe for another. You could share more stories of your travels in 2023.
Okay, and that's once again that's Destinations by Ruby, and that's Ruby with an I. So thank you.
And thank you to our viewers, because without your support, we wouldn't have this wonderful award-winning podcast where we could share all of our stories, all of our travel tips, so that you can be an awesome traveler. Smart People Travel Wise airs every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon Pacific. I'm Tennie Sumague. Catch you all next time. Happy holidays.